I still think New York City is fantastic and alive with so much. But if I have to compare it to my beginnings and what it was like then, it certainly was a violent and dangerous place, but it was very much more alive, a lot more artistry around, a lot more freedoms, a lot of expression. It was a golden period. The music industry was in a lot better shape.
I come so far with them by my side, it makes a difference.
This was typically our handball court. We could get up to 5 players in this area. And a lot of these guys were very good. And Nile Rodgers was one of them. He played with me here. At the time, Nile was completely a Black Panther. And every day I saw him, he was wearing army fatigues.
I'm Danny Krivit. I'm DJ now for 45 years. I guess I'm best known for the music that I play. It's very diverse, but it's based in soul. And I also have a good reputation for editing. When I started, you were also starting to see what they call machine gun edits, where you would have this, I'm going to show you I can edit technique. I was much more into an edit that extended what you liked and lent itself to thinking, is that an edit? Sounds like the music to me. I'm just trying to find the best in things, and there's a lot out there. I've moved about 10 blocks in my life. I grew up in Greenwich Village. My father was Chet Baker's manager. My mother was a jazz singer.
As a kid, when I lived on 12th Street, I would walk almost every day past here. This area was very depressed. This whole park was this huge prison. It towered over the entire neighborhood, and it kind of kept everything down. There was no money in this area. There wasn't going to be. Because of that, it attracted a lot of artists and musicians and the gay population. It was perfect for them. And when they tore it down, within a few years, this area became the poster child for co-ops.
My first DJing was from my father in 1971 when I was only 14, but for a place called the Ninth Circle.
All right, so here we are at the Ninth Circle. I've worked there as early as 7. I would set up the bar in the morning. The Ninth Circle had a reputation for this hot music. When you go in there, you'd hear music that wasn't the top 40. You'd hear these album cuts and a lot of hot jazz. I served Janis Joplin there a couple times. I met John Lennon, Yoko Ono there. I met Jimi Hendrix there, Charles Mingus. I made tapes and they used them here. I really didn't think of this as a job, so my record collection was pretty much supplemented by myself of other jobs I had, and that's how I started DJing.
Besides these records, I probably have about 80,000 in total. The rest is in 4 storage rooms. I've had them since the 80s. The collecting thing, I think, started before records. I'm kind of a chronic collector in life. That's what pulled me into music in the first place, was collecting the records, owning the records. This is, it's called Yellow Sunshine. It's a Philly International release. It's the members of Instant Funk. This is their first record. And the song Yellow Sunshine was one of those early break records, you know, that you would hear guys cutting up in the parks. It's such an ideal format. 100 years from now, this record is going to sound just the way it does today. It has a life. And I can't say that about digital music. You have to constantly update it and copy it. It can lose something. The first edits I did, to get them right, I handled them so much with my hands that you start to hear them get dull. Over the years, I made the move to digital. It was an important improvement to use digital, but I always prefer vinyl. It sounds better, it's something tangible, and I enjoy playing it. People relate to seeing that. There is a little bit of romance with the 7-inch, especially since I try to collect these ones with picture covers. It adds another dimension to them. These were all DJ Flower 7 inches, his original stuff from the early 70s. And someone kind of bestowed that on me. They're a single, they're very focused. Often a short version, but a very concise, no frills, just the meat and potatoes of the song. And they actually sound very good. many highlights I could point to. Certainly my introduction to the loft and the garage, they were the mecca of the best DJs and really what I consider the best music. It turned me on to a lot of things. When I played for roller skaters, it brought me into another world as far as really following a groove and another type of music. And this was right around the time disco was falling apart, so it was a good stabilization for me. Larry Levan was a very influential person in my career. I met both Francois K and Larry Levan at the Loft in the mid-'70s. And Larry, when he started the garage, I really gravitated there. That was my home base, and loved going there almost every week. I worked a lot in the 80s, but in the 90s when I started with Francois K and Joe Corsell for Body and Soul, that was a big turning point. That was a different way of playing, really playing for the fun of it, and yet it became a big success. And then after Body and Soul closed its weekly party at Club Vinyl to play my own party, 718 Sessions. 718 Sessions, it actually started in 2002. The premise of these parties, both Body and Soul and 718, it's built on the heels of these other great parties before it, the ones we respect the most, which would be the Loft and the Garage and Shelter and, places like that. I really relish the idea of the way I control those parties and how they turn out the way they are. I do have a number of things I want to focus on and celebrate. One is, since it's 45 years, I thought I would really focus on playing a number of parties where I just play the 45s, the 7 inches. A 2-hour set of 45 seems like a full night. It sounds like it's very focused and quick moving. If you're watching a DJ play 45s, it's very engaging. You see stuff happening all the time and they're doing something. And it's very rewarding. They make for a very fun format. I'm focusing on releasing more music. In today's life, standing still is like moving backwards.